as far as we know, the more you call, the less your balance becomes, right? Yes. But when my grandma calls, her balance increases. I will tell you how. I was reading a sentence from a document that a friend shared with me, and it says, while working, focus on what you are doing as if it is the only and the most important thing in the world at that moment. Don't forget, we are talking about focus. My grandma gets tired so quickly in few distances she moves. She can't move around that much. The best weapon she has to move around is her mobile phone. She focused on how she can get as more balance as she can. So she used her phone. She called to say hi, she called to say bye, she called to say when are you coming, she called to all of her 9 children, even to her grandchildren, like me. When we call her, she even cancels our call and calls us back. But with the more calls she makes, her balance increases. One day I found out how her balance increases with the more calls she makes. I wanted to advise her and I said, Grandma, when I call you, don't cancel and call me back because that will consume your balance. Do you know what she said? If you think like that, send me a mobile card after my call. Talking to her, I might consume a maximum of 5 bills. But when I send her a mobile card, I will send a minimum of 25 bills. In that way, her balance increases dramatically in few weeks. She does this to most of the people she calls, and she managed to get as more balance as she wants. She focused on the best weapon she has to move around. Don't you ever wonder how your day passes without a single thing gets done? But during the day you are working. You are working on so many things. You start doing something, at the same time you are thinking about the thing you will do next, and all of a sudden you stop what you are doing, then you switch to the other. Sometimes you get so busy, but you don't even know what you are busy doing. Studies show that it is not doing many things at the same time. It's not an efficient way of getting things done. Do one thing at a time. If you feel restless doing just one activity, it is okay to switch between 2 activities or 3 activities, but giving each one your full attention for 10 to 15 minutes. Usually, people are not able to focus while working or studying because they don't allocate separate blocks of time for the issues they think about. Allocate separate blocks of time for planning, problem solving, even worrying in a day. Do your planning. And when the time comes, switch to the issues that worries you the most to solve your problem. You may say it is simply impossible not to think about the issues that worries you the most, whatever you are doing. It is a habit which is hard to break. But believe me, it's a matter of exercise. If you notice yourself worrying over something, give yourself 5 to 10 minutes of worry time. Then if you haven't sorted out the problem in 5 to 10 minutes, additional time of brooding is not likely to help. When the time is up, get up and do something else. You could call a friend, take a walk, read a magazine. You could do something else. In time, you will find yourself overthinking less. Whatever you are doing for living, focus on the thing you are doing. Give more heart to what you do for living. Give it your highest talent and deepest devotion. Like I said it in the beginning, as if it is the only and the important thing in the world. If you are a student, focus on the lecturer, on his face, on his body language, on his words in the board. If you are in a conversation, listen attentively what people are saying. If you are eating, focus your mind on your food and enjoying it. If you are reading, How many times should you read a sentence in a book again and again just because you don't focus on the words? If you are reading, focus your eyes and your mind on the words. Once I heard that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you focus, you'll be able to do your job like even as Michelangelo painted, or as Shakespeare wrote poetry, or as Beethoven composed music. Focus. But make sure that you focus on the right thing. A PhD student with his teenager kid, was on a camping trip. When the day gets darker, they prepared their tent and they start sleeping inside their tent. But in the middle of the night, the kid knocks his father awake and said, "Dad, wake up, look up." And the father, don't forget, who is a PhD student, walks up and see the beauty of the sky was full of stars and said, "Hey kid, I see millions of stars. Thank you, that tells me a lot." The father continues talking. "Astronomically, I observe there exists billions of stars and planets and millions of galaxies. Meteorologically, I observe or I expect the weather will be fine and clear. Theologically, I see that God is all powerful and man, who is his creature, is small and insignificant. What about you, kid?" And the kid, looking around, instead of looking up, said, "Dad, are you fool? It only tells me one thing. The fact that we are able to see the sky with all these stars tells me someone has stolen our tent." Make sure you focus on the right thing. If you focus, you'll be able to make better decisions, wiser choices. And at the end, that will bring you richer, happier, and more fulfilling experience of living. So please, focus.